So we watched 2 movies.
That's the energy we're going in with. Welcome back to another episode of KAFM. I'm Duncan, and that is
John.
And this is Kill All Film Majors. We talk shit on movies, but today we're going to talk about one movie that we both like and one movie that, from the sound of it...
So, it's a double feature.
Yeah.
Where I went to see The Crow in theaters with my brother.
For like a re-release? Was it an anniversary re-release?
30th anniversary release, and they're releasing a 4K this year.
And it also coincides with the new one coming out in how many months? 2?
Some.
Is it July?
It's some part of the... No, I think it's August. But it's
Okay.
some part of the summer. And we had a great time, and then I mentioned it to you, and you're like, well, we could do a double feature, but one of us said, let's do a double feature. I think you said, well, the connection could be birds.
Birds.
I was like, yo, I love birds.
And I was like, we're not doing The Birds. What is any other movie with birds in it that ain't about birds?
And you had listed a couple, and I said, yo, just pick one. And so your choice was...
Chicken Run, the 2000 DreamWorks stop-motion film animated by Aardman Entertainment.
So the way we talk about these is which one we watched first, right?
Yeah, I think we both saw The Crow.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're starting with that one.
That movie's cool.
Awesome. This movie came out in 94, I think. 94. Starring the late Brandon Lee. God rest his soul. And was, by my memory, when we first got Netflix streaming, it was the only movie available on Netflix streaming. So my brother and I watched it dozens of times.
That is a powerful opening swing from Netflix.
I can't remember any other movies. I remember looking through their selection. It wasn't huge at the time. And it was just The Crow over and over again.
The first 6 season of Friends and The Crow.
Did they even have TV shows then? I don't think they had the sway to do that.
I really don't know. I didn't even know about Netflix really until maybe when they started doing the Marvel shows.
You didn't know about Netflix till like 2015?
No.
What do you mean you didn't know about it?
I didn't know about streaming. I didn't know about streaming movies.
Were you raised Amish? What the fuck?
No.
Is that where that hat's from?
No, so I've talked about how, my parents are cinephiles. We'd watch movies all the time. And my parents, much like me, are very much like a we want to own it kind of a, they don't even like buying games digitally or anything. So whenever we would go to the store, we would stop by the new movie section. My parents would just be like, pick something out. So, my parents just had, dozens of physical movies that we would watch.
But you didn't... I can understand many people had DVD collections or whatever, so I understand that's your preference. To not know about streaming.
I knew about renting. I knew about Redbox. Obviously, I went to Hollywood Video, but the concept of the internet being able to beam movies at me. Yeah, I was 14 when I first heard about this shit. I was just like, what?
2015 makes you older than... That makes you 16, doesn't it?
Yeah, it would have been about 15, 16, depending on... Yeah. I was driving a car before I knew.
Past a billboard that said Netflix. You just screeched to the side of the road.
I mean, I probably knew about Netflix from when they sent movies by mail.
That's what we had first. Originally, we had that.
Yeah, but I didn't know that they had swapped over to stream. I didn't know that was a thing. I just thought it was the lazier, I can just... Instead of going to Hollywood Video and picking out some movies, they can send me those.
The lazier version. This elitist. It was...
Look, I can still walk. Can that speak to obese America?
Do you think Netflix was mostly obese America?
No.
I don't think so. I think obese America didn't get excited till DoorDash.
So COVID.
Is that when you think DoorDash started?
No, I know Uber Eats, DoorDash, but they blew up in the wake of COVID.
I think they were big before that.
Really?
Yeah, I think you might just be about 10 years behind everything.
That would explain so much.
When you find out about Instagram, you're gonna lose your mind.
Oh, I have an Instagram.
You do?
Yeah, I don't use it. I've had an Instagram for 8 years, and I used it maybe twice, and I was like, I don't take pictures. I'm not a selfie kind of person, so it's like, this is
It's
nothing
not for
to me.
selfies. It's for Instagram reels.
See, and that wasn't around when I was using it.
Okay.
Reels, and what is the other one by Facebook now? Threads?
Threads is just like their Twitter. I don't know about that one.
Oh, okay.
I don't use that. I use regular Twitter. I don't even use that either.
Yeah, no,
I'd scroll through the news feed. Or not news, whatever the...
twice a month I will open up Twitter just for the KAFM.
We have one?
Social
Oh,
media,
yeah, I
just
forgot.
for the social
How
media presence.
active are you on that?
Maybe like once every other episode that comes out, I'm like, there's a new KFM this Saturday. I gotta get better about that.
I'll make us an Instagram. So the Crow rules.
The Crow's so fucking cool.
It's actually in the theater. We sit down, and it's decent turnout. It's not like packed or anything, but I didn't expect like 40% of the theater to be full for a 6:30 p.m. re-release of The Crow, one night only on a Wednesday.
People fucking love The Crow.
And they should. And we sit down, and I'm like, decent turnout, gothy people. And then 2 seats out over from us, someone sits down, and it's just wafting cheap, shitty cigarettes. Just cigarette stench all over. And at first, it's like, oh my God. Then the movie starts, and I'm like, yeah, perfect.
They got that 4D,
Yeah, I
if you remember
know.
when they were trying to do that.
They still do that.
The scratch and sniff boards at movie theaters?
Not scratch and sniff, but they like spray water and make smells and shit.
I thought that was just like a Disneyland thing.
No, it's like a 4DX experience.
What movie theaters do that?
Nothing near me. I think something in Seattle.
Okay.
We can ask around, call them up. You guys spray me in the face when I watch a movie? You know that thing that sounds horribly annoying? Can I pay $30 a ticket?
Can I watch Terrifier in 4D?
No! Run!
Smells
Oh my
like
God.
cheap clown paint and blood.
It really feels like they're sawing my pussy. Terrifier sucks.
We should do a Terrifier double feature with It. Shitty clowns.
Shitty clown.
Shitty horror clowns.
Shit clowns.
Shit clowns.
You know who's not a shitty clown? The Crow. His
No,
face paint rules.
He's a cool fucking mime.
So it's based off a comic where I don't care, but before the movie, they actually had a little breakdown of the set designer. He did like a little, I don't know, like 2-minute interview.
Oh, that's cool.
I think it was taken from the 4K Blu-ray special features because it was like at the end an ad for it. But he talked about making the movie monochromatic. He's like, the comics are in black and white. So he wanted this movie to be monochromatic, not literally, but very similar tones, that blacks, grays, the dark blues and stuff.
A lot of chiaroscuro.
And then when the white hits the light, you see texture.
Yeah.
And so seeing that right before the movie starts, I was looking for that, and I had a whole new appreciation. My brother hadn't seen the movie in years, and so he couldn't remember if it was just nostalgia that he liked it from when we were kids, or if the movie rocked. And when we watched it, the movie rocked.
The movie, in my head, I have a holy trinity of movies that were cool as fuck when I was a kid that, like, I don't know if they hold up. We've watched 2 of them now.
So it's Blade and the Crow.
It's Blade, The Crow, and Spawn.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Third time's the charm.
Here's the thing. I know the CGI in Spawn does not hold up, but like those were probably the reason I got into like comic book movies as a kid.
So I haven't seen Spawn all the way through. I've seen clips. I do know famously they couldn't finish the CGI, right? Like the movie shipped and they're just like, it's out there.
If you want to talk about shitty CGI blood, Spawn is the place to do it.
Well, we'll circle back. We could have done that for a double feature, but gear up. Bird movies.
I didn't look. My other option was Crow and Game of Death.
What is that?
Bruce Lee's last movie.
Yeah.
I didn't say it, but that was the other one I had in the back pocket.
Okay. Yeah, that would have made me feel not good in doing this episode.
No. So instead, you're gonna feel terrible for other reasons.
So The Crow is about a man who is killed, and his girlfriend is raped and killed, and so he comes back from the dead through vague magic, and needs to get revenge.
This movie doesn't need to explain shit.
It explains it in the opening minute.
Yeah, it's just like he's a revenant. Go, my child.
Revenant.
Yeah, revenants are spirits that come back because they have unfinished business and that vague kind of.
Yeah, and I'm watching that, and I'm thinking, it's great that like the opening shot of the movie is like cityscape, zoom in on the cops looking at the fucking beat up house or whatever.
Yeah.
And we see our lead, Eric Draven, dead on the concrete. Like, the backstory has happened. We're going to get flashbacks later through the movie, and in all of them, he will be shirtless for some reason, including his proposal, which is strange to me. Why you would propose shirtless?
Because he looks good as hell.
He does, but he's like, honey, come here. I'm in sweatpants and no shirt. Would you marry me?
That's how they should have dressed Leo for Romeo plus Juliet.
He does have an open shirt at many points in that movie.
But he has an open shirt. That's still a shirt. I want to see his shoulders.
Hey, you little freak.
So, yeah, he's killed and brought back through a child narrating that sometimes the crow will bring the spirit back. Okay, that's all.
Sometimes shit comes back because he's angry. Too angry to die, so now he's a clown. That's cool.
It's so fucking...
You know what else he does? Shreds metal on a guitar and puts lead through heads. And so we see him come back. We introduced to side characters, a little girl that knew them, a cop that knows of the
Ernie
crime.
Hudson.
Looking great. It's funny that he's less in shape in this movie than he is currently. Like when he was doing that new Ghostbusters tour and he's like jacked to the fucking gills.
Oh my god, he looks incredible.
I don't know if he got on gas or something, but...
Metabolic steroids do wonders past 50.
And before 50. I should get on them. I'd love nothing more than to be on steroids.
You get that 3-inch inseam.
So he comes back, and there's a surprising amount of nuance and subtlety to his... Like, it's very stylized and overt in the sense that he's crawling out of a grave screaming and crying. But there is a mix of gentleness and punk grunge sort of cynicism.
It has that cynicism towards the world, but it's not completely nihilistic because he found love and you feel that genuine passion.
Yeah.
And he was fucking cooking with the pathos in this movie.
And so it's just it's a mix of like so many of these revenge movies are like just generic. Any action movie, you know, the love story is always the weak point. Because it's just like the movie barely not this movie, but those movies will like barely consider women people. So they're like, we're not spending time writing her. We're just doing it. In this movie, it's because it's just a story about him and his connection. We could just see moments of romance through flashbacks and focus entirely on just killing people. Or like his experience in the world in life post-death.
Yeah, a lot of... It isn't even... He doesn't even fully understand why he was brought back. You know, I think Ernie Hudson at one point, or maybe the little girl asked, it's like, what are you? How are you back? What's going on? He's like, I don't know, but I'm here to kill people.
Yeah, and...
He was having fun with it.
Just little moments of entering a room and like there's a light bulb touching his head, so he's like spending time rubbing against it for half a second before he attacks a heroin addict.
Hey, the heroin addict fires first.
Yeah, because he lets him.
Yeah.
But I forgot how quickly this movie moves, how stylized it is, how concrete it is in its vision. And just how much fun it is. And you mentioned cynicism without nihilism, where it's that 90s, it's just like a ruined city. Everything looks dirty and grungy. I was almost thinking of like 70s New York, it's kind of evoking, or like Detroit in the 90s is what it's doing. But it's just a fun time. It's somehow all of those things, and then also just a scene where people fight with katanas and Uzis.
Yeah. And a lot of it's so funny to me because he's unknowingly working his way up this like gang ladder because all he wants to do is kill the people who killed him and his girlfriend.
There's 4 guys. There's Tintin, Fun Boy, Skank, and T-Bird.
And the fact that you can remember all their names.
I know. There are movies starring Brad Pitt and Ben Affleck where I will never remember a character's name they play. I got all 4 goons from The Crow.
And then they got... Who... It was,
Are you talking about the top guy?
Payday? What was his name?
Top Dollar.
Top Dollar. That was his name. Played by that guy from Nope.
Yeah.
Michael something.
Purple People Eater.
Yeah.
He sings that in Nope. It's awesome. Nope's okay, but that moment's awesome.
I like Nope.
I liked it. I didn't love it.
Yeah.
You know what I loved?
The Crow.
The Crow.
The Crow. Before we get sidetracked on Nope. Yeah, so he's unknowingly just like, I want to kill these guys. And he ends up, like, one of the final confrontations, when he first gets to Top Dollar's room of guys. Top Dollar's like, you're trying to dismantle my whole operation. No, I want to kill that guy.
Yeah.
Well, too bad. You
do whatever you want, weirdo.
Yeah, I don't care what you're about.
Bang your sister, I guess.
There was something going. I was not
what?
Comfortable
with him banging his sister?
No, believe it or not. I forgot about that, and then he was just like, this is my father's daughter. I'm like, oh.
A half-sister, I think.
Yeah.
She's Asian, and he's not, so.
He remarkably looks like a guy we know.
Does he? Interesting.
I don't know if you see it, but
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Anyway. Why do you bring that up? Are you implying that guy bangs his sister?
No. I couldn't stop thinking about... Because, like, so I was watching this movie on my second monitor while grinding levels in Kingdom Hearts 1. And I died many times because I stopped to actually watch the movie because this movie's cool as fuck. But, like, I would hear his voice and be like, yeah, that's a cool bad guy voice. And then I would look and he had the softest skin, the silkiest hair. And I'd be like,
I'm already pissed you besmirched the Crow time with Kingdom Hearts.
Look, I got shit I gotta do, man.
You don't have to do Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Have to do?
Yeah, I do.
For what?
Yeah, I do.
For what?
Yeah, I do.
Got shit I have to do, says unemployed Kingdom Hearts fan.
Nah, it's for stream.
I think that's still sad. We don't have to do this.
But we want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For now. There'll be a halfway mark in this fucking episode where I slump back into a comatose state.
Yeah, we do this based on like which one we watched first. We really should have bent to that rule a little bit so you can get gassed up in the second half of the Crow.
I follow the rules to a T.
Like
T-Bird who does not follow the rules. I love in this movie how he kills each one of those dudes ironically at first.
Yeah.
Where he's like, Tintin uses knives, so he uses his own knives on him. He's like, my knives never miss. They miss on the Crow. Stabbles. Stabbles?
Are you good?
I didn't mean to say that.
Stabbles.
Tell me and Martha, the Crow done stabbled Tintin.
No, Tintin is dead. I'm trying to, it wasn't Skank in the car.
No, that's T-Bird. But next is Fun Boy, who's a heroin addict. So he stabs him with 50 heroin needles directly into his heart. Overdoses him. Ironic death. I didn't mean to say overdose.
Are you okay?
I'm having a Crow meltdown. Because I just want to get to my point, which is then he gets to T-Bird, who had lights to blow shit up, so he blows them up. And then Skank, he's like, it's time for your ironic death. You're going out a fucking window. Skank didn't do anything. A height-based, window-based. He's like, all right, crackhead. And then he just throws him out a fucking window.
No, but that's how Eric died.
Oh! I didn't even consider this.
Yeah, I think if you go back and watch it, Skank is the one who's like, toss him out the window.
Is he? Okay. And even if he's not, finishing the last one in the way that he himself died, perfect. This movie's even better now.
Yeah, this movie's damn near perfect.
Damn near perfect. The only issues are the tweaks arise due to the untimely death of Brandon Lee.
Yeah.
Because of when there will be edits where it's like, oh, this is the finishing, because they had to like finish the movie a little bit.
He had 3 days left, and there were 8 shooting days left in total.
Okay, so there's like a couple moments like when the girl first meets him, they don't show his face at all. I'm pretty sure that's a stunt double. That's not him. When she goes to his apartment,
Yeah, okay.
and his silhouette appears, and you never see his face that whole scene, and then it just freeze frames on their hug and then fades to black, like. It's a weird moment. Why wouldn't you show his face? That was probably filmed at post-mortem. There's other little moments where it's just like strange edits or like weird cuts, and their budget wasn't great. They were running out of money. That was something the set designer mentioned as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's just those two things combined. They make these strange little edits, but they don't hurt the movie. They're just like, huh, that's weird.
Yeah, like if anything, like when she first meets the Crow again, like, because there's a little bit of recognition, but she's not entirely sure. And at another point, she's like, I did recognize you. I think it was out when they were out on the street.
Yeah, I knew it was you or something.
Yeah. And so in that moment, if you didn't know that Brandon Lee passed away, like right at the tail end of production, you could just chalk it up to a directorial choice.
Yeah. By Alex Proyas, director of a couple weird things. Can't remember the names. Not Dark Man. That's Sam Raimi.
Dark Man.
Take the fucking elephant. I'm Dark Man.
We gotta find something to double feature with Dark Man.
Have you seen Dark Man?
Bits and pieces. I gotta sit down and watch it.
You never saw? I saw that in theaters.
Cool.
We should find a time when they I have it on. I spent like $37 for a 4K Dark Man.
What was it? Imported? 37.
No, it's like Shout Factory. It's just like the fancy Dark Man release.
The fancy Dark Man. Right?
I didn't even get the fanciest, which came with the poster and the sticker. Anyway, the Crow fucking rules.
The Crow.
Is he called the Crow? I'm realizing.
No
one calls him the Crow in the movie. I call him the Crow.
No, but the Japanese half sister is she's the one that figures out the Crow is his familiar. That's what's tethering him to the Crow is symbolic of his presence. He just keeps calling himself Eric. He's like the pawn dealer that he goes to. That whole scene is fucking cool too.
Yeah.
I love that scene where he like loads a bunch because he's looking for the engagement ring that Tintin and the rest of them like pawned off. And he loads his shotgun. He starts like dumping gas everywhere. He loads his shotgun full of like other engagement rings that this pawn dealer took, and he fires it into the burning shrapnel sets the building on fire. It's so fucking awesome.
Yeah, there's only so many ways we can say this movie rules.
But movie
rules.
Yeah, he's just like, tell him, Eric Draven sends his regard. He refers to himself in the third person. I'm assuming because he doesn't really associate with himself anymore because he's a Zamboni.
What?
Zombie.
Oh.
You good?
I didn't get it. You said Zamboni, which is a fucking vehicle.
Yeah. Used to pave ice, like the way he paved people on the pavement.
Yeah, he did.
Cleaning up this city one death at a time.
He's not cleaning up the city. He wants 4 guys dead.
And
city remains filthy.
And then he leaves.
It's awesome. The only reason he kills the rest is because they try to kill the girl.
Yeah. So he's fucking...
Ernie Hudson shows up with a flare gun. More movies should be good.
Why was Ernie Hudson demoted?
It just says he was like overreaching. So he has 2.
They demote him and then they suspend him.
Yeah, so he he's suspended for like getting that case file, Eric Draven's case file.
Yeah.
Demoted for, or in one of the flashbacks, he just says like, I used to be more outgoing. I was like digging my nose where I shouldn't, so they kicked me out.
But wasn't he a detective for the police?
Yeah, but they were like, they told him to drop a case and he didn't, basically. So they're like, okay, you don't get to be a detective.
You can't. You're a good detective, but you're not following our detective rules.
They have rules.
I know they have rules because he's still a fucking cop. But like, if there's a fucking lead, I thought legitimately, I was like, I thought it was because he hadn't arrested Fun Boy in the gang yet. It's just like, you're a bad cop. These criminals are still out on the street.
No, it's because he was like,
They just have a vague.
He was too much of a good person. So he was stamped down by the system is the idea.
ACAB.
Okay. All crows are badass.
Yeah. Speaking of badass movies,
Are we moving on already?
we're moving on.
Watch The Crow, please.
Yeah, watch The Crow, and then watch The Crow City of Angels, not The
No.
Crow Prophecy.
No, don't watch either of them. And then watch that new Crow when it comes out.
Legitimately, so we talked a little bit about when we did the Blade episode, we talked a little bit about the new one coming out. It's not going to have nearly as much gas as the original.
Same thing here.
It looks closer, though. It looks like it's going to be at least half as cool.
Half is cool. The issue I have with it is in the trailer,
Yeah.
there's a lot of explanation. And then you see people talking about like power and blah, blah, blah. And there looks like to be other demonic entities. It's not what this shit is about. This shit is about vague mysticism and one guy's back from the dead. All right?
Killing other dudes.
I don't know what the original comic was about. And frankly, I don't care.
It ran for like a decade. There was
A decade?
Yeah. It ran for like 5 years before the movie came out. It ran for 5 years after the movie came out.
What the? I just thought it was like some one-off comic. Like,
No.
How long did The Mask go on? We should have done I hit the mic. I got so excited. The Crow and The Mask.
That would have been so
Like
cool.
niche comics that got turned into big budget or like big quote unquote got turned into Hollywood movies out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Man.
Instead, we get to talk about Chicken Run. Hell yeah! I'm so excited. I've been wanting to get some kind of animation on this show for so fucking long, and Chicken
That
Run
is
was.
a big spike.
I don't care if I'm peeking the mic. We're talking about Chicken Run. I'm so gassed up now about Chicken Run. You look so tired. I will carry this back half of the episode for the both of us.
Thank you. Put me on my back I'll put on my back.
I'll put you on your back.
No.
So Chicken Run is a 2000 animation produced by DreamWorks and developed and animated by Aardman, known for those God, what are those fucking like?
Wallace and Gromit?
Yeah, well, okay, they have movies like Wallace and Gromit, Pirates Band of Misfits. They did like the Shaun the Sheep for a younger audience.
Now I'm just real quick.
Yeah.
Let me drop in here. I watched Wallace and Gromit when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I liked Wallace and Gromit. If I watched it today, I'd probably still enjoy it on some level.
I got the whole collection right over there.
That's cool. But I just wanted to say that before
It's not a slight against the animation company.
anything else happened.
Okay.
And it continues.
So, Chicken Run is a story about a group of chickens.
That's true.
It's
No objections so far.
Chicken Run is a narrative about a chicken farm, group of hens, and they are personified as egg slaves for. What do you want from me?
I think it's a movie about chickens who lay eggs.
Yeah.
The farmer takes them and is a mean bitch and eventually decides she's going to kill the chickens and make them pies.
Yeah. And it,
Personifications, egg slaves. Like, we don't need to use big words for Chicken Run.
look, I fucking love Chicken Run.
I don't.
I'm not surprised you don't.
You said, I think when you said it was big for your childhood.
Yeah.
I'd never seen it. I'd seen Wallace and Gromit.
You seen Wallace and Gromit?
go to it. I'm like, where's this streaming? Nowhere. I'm sure you have it on disc somewhere in there. So you rented it? I did the same. I want my $4.16. No, I see it's G, and it's like animation, so it's a children's movie.
Yeah.
So I don't really judge movies like on a universal level. I can't be like, well, this doesn't speak to me as deeply as some fucking like
As The Crow.
doesn't. But I'm like, all right, well, it's a kids movie. I'm gonna go in. I mean this 100% genuinely. I don't get it.
Really?
I don't like. I was watching it and I didn't get it.
In what aspect?
All of them?
Like the narrative didn't.
I understand they want to escape.
Yeah.
That's about where my understanding ends.
I don't know how to help you.
So maybe you just talk through this movie and I'll ask questions.
Okay. So the movie opens with a daring escape plan by our main character, Ginger. And
That's her name.
yeah. Are you kidding me? Ginger, Bunty, Babs, Rocky the Rhode Island Red. I know these characters, Mr. and Mrs. Tweety.
Okay, then this was a good pairing because I know Fun Boy, Tintin, T-Bird,
Yeah, no.
Skank.
Fowler, the other rooster, the old man.
I'm tasting garden burger on that one.
All right, so it opens with a daring escape plan, and it's framed like a prison escape. This whole movie is framed as, they are imprisoned, and they're eggs. It's an egg farm. They're imprisoned and they want freedom. And it goes through this montage of all these different escape plans, and a lot of the inner conflict in the group is that some of the chickens are like, well, you know what? Maybe this is just our lot in life. Maybe we can't amount to anything better. Maybe we just got to lay eggs until they kill us. Which, for a kids movie, you said it was rated G. I didn't check the rating before I watched this. I thought it was rated PG because I will say that, basically being like, hey, you see this woman? She's gonna go die.
I will say that I'll give the movie points. Early on, a chicken doesn't lay enough eggs. She grabs that chicken and she just walks her into the barn, and you see her pick up an axe, and you see a silhouette of her raising the axe, and then you hear the thud. You don't see it, which I wish you'd seen it. I wish you'd seen them just fucking behead a chicken, a little chicken woman. But I was like, all right, you know what? Kids movies are kind of for bitches these days. They're like so scared of scaring kids or showing them anything.
Yeah.
The fact that the movie's just like, no, you know what the threat is? We're going to cut your fucking head off. I'm like, all right, you get points for me. But that was right after two moments that confused me in the opening, because that's all in the opening, like 10 minutes.
Yeah, what confused you?
First of all, the opening montage confused me because I was just like, this is going on a long time.
Well, it was also tying in with the an Aardman animation, produced by, directed by. They probably had a number of hoops they had to jump through of how many people had to be named in the top credit.
You gotta put them all on the screen at once.
like how early movies would just have two screens
Yeah.
of all names and not even an end credit.
Because it was just going on. I was like, at one point I checked, I was like, 6 minutes in the movie, we're still seeing names fade in and we're just watching them escape, and it doesn't work. And so, does that montage make you laugh?
No, the montage, I think, sets the tone, and it sets the idea of Ginger is in charge, but she's also separate from the group. Because she has a moment in the movie where she gives this speech of, there's got to be something better out there. She gives that kind of hopeful speech.
But not in the montage.
No, not in the montage. But with that reference later in the movie, it makes it seem like she never fully, she was just kind of like, hey guys, we got to get out of here. And it didn't feel like everybody was really on board. And that's part of her arc as a leader throughout the movie, is getting everybody on board. Because Bunty, the largest hen, she's really abrasive to the whole idea. Because when Edwina, the chicken that doesn't lay enough eggs, I know the names, don't look at me like that. When Edwina doesn't lay enough eggs, gets the chop, Bunty's like, maybe if she had spent more time laying, less time escaping, she wouldn't have gotten the chop. So Bunty is super abrasive and oppositional in the group, and she has enough pull. She is a character within the dynamic that has sway, being the largest hen that lays the most eggs.
Okay. So this fat, fertile chicken just pumping them out like one of those moms in Fury Road.
Yeah, she laid 5 eggs that morning.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. She's very fertile.
So never mind. Anyway. So the montage is just setting the tone. Like, are kids laughing during the montage? Were you laughing when you watched it as a kid?
As a kid, no. I don't remember laughing at it as a kid. I think I more so, just because I was a kid and able to more easily, I didn't have my own fully formed identity yet as a person. I feel like
you were a chicken.
No, I felt like
I gotta get out of here.
Well, I did feel more empathy for her, and there was the scene at the very beginning before the montage where like the dogs are getting her and like they chew through a garden gnome and shit. They're like biting down on ceramic. I did probably feel like, oh my god, a chicken gonna get ate.
Okay, I just thought, I was watching it, and then at one point I thought, did I start in the middle of the movie?
No.
And it just felt like it's a montage from like a middle of a movie. And then it was the open, and then I was like, no, there's credits happening. And then it took 6 minutes, and I was like, what the hell's going on? And then right after that, the second part that confused me was they introduced the old rooster who like treats the egg farm like a barracks.
Yeah.
And he's like, he lines them all up like the barracks, and he's like, chickens, blah, blah, blah.
my RAF there, blah, blah.
We got to do this. And then he's like going on a ramble, and then someone goes, thank you. And he's like, yes. Well. And then it cuts to the chickens, and they're looking at him, and it cuts back to him, and he's standing there like it's awkward.
Yeah, because...
And then he goes, excuse me.
Did you not hear the line before that?
Which was?
He was like, all of you are talking too much. Y'all need to shut up. And he was rambling on too long. He was rambling about people rambling too much.
Oh, is that the joke?
Yeah.
I couldn't figure it out. I remember him saying that, but it just cut to the chicken silent, and then it cuts back to him, and then he's like, I gotta go. And I was like, what? I didn't get it.
Yeah, no. To be fair, I think if you're not listening to Fowler's inane ramblings, that is one hiccup in the movie. If you're not listening to his ramblings, you're not going to understand. Because at one point in the movie, the whole... Fowler's whole character is he keeps rambling about his days in the RAF.
Yeah.
And later they ask, it's like, what's the RAF? The Royal Air Force.
I remember. I was wanted that.
But I remember as a kid not getting, because the line immediately after that, the whole crux of the movie is that they can't go under the fence. That's not working to get everybody out. But they're chickens. Maybe they're birds. Maybe they could fly over the fence. And so Ginger asks, then what's the old crate? And as a kid, I didn't get that. But throughout the movie, Fowler does have ramblings when he's talking about, like, in the RAF and the Air Force, he would fly in the old crate. That's what he called a plane. So, like, I didn't get that as a kid. And only watching it now, I was like, oh, she's saying that as though quoting him. I thought she was talking about... Because it immediately cuts to him opening up, like...
Yeah, I thought it was... she's just like, what's in that old crate, by the way?
Yeah, like his trunk at the end of his bed, he opens it up, and it's a picture. He's got a picture of the plane in there, and it's... Legitimately, it took me until this moment to realize, oh, she's quoting him when he's talking about, quote, the old crate.
Okay, so that clears up the opening of the movie, which I was thoroughly confused by. And I watched this movie. I didn't like put it on and leave the room or anything like that. Like, I watched it.
Yeah.
And
I believe you.
That's the thing. Like, I don't want to dislike a movie if I didn't give it a fair shake.
Yeah.
And so to come out of the movie not like, like I wasn't angry. I was just like legitimately like, what, huh? And then like that happens enough times where at some point I'm just like, whatever, man. Like, I don't know what's happening.
So we go through this whole rigmarole of none of their escape plans are working, and Ginger, who is taking some time away. Legitimately, if we want to talk about how much this movie like how much this movie gets to me, there's this moment where she gives her speech of like, there's got to be something better out there, and Bunty, what a load of tripe. The chances of all of us getting out of here are 1,000,000 to 1. And Ginger has this line. She's just looking her dead in the eye and just says, then there's still hope. There's still a chance. Goosebumps.
Goosebumps?
Legitimately goosebumps from me.
Oh my God.
To this day, this movie still gets me. I don't know if I just imprinted on Aardman animation at a young age with this and Wallace and Gromit, and they do like different commercials for different companies. And they have a TV show called Creature Comforts that I loved as a kid.
I've seen bits of that actually.
Yeah, like just tons of Aardman stuff from a kid. So I don't know if it's that just, imprinting at like such a deep level for me, but so she goes out and she's trying to figure out, what are we going to do? How am I going to get all of the hens out of here at once? Cuz if we leave someone behind, that's all of a sudden they're going to have to pick up the slack of everybody leaving.
They're going to die.
Yeah.
They're not going to have to pick up the slack. One chicken is not going to be like, all right, well, I got to lay 40 eggs a day and hope no one notices.
Well, that's the track of logic is like, not enough eggs, get the block, so she's thinking about, what am I going to do? And then Mel Gibson falls from the sky.
I know. And all of a sudden, I was like, an American. Maybe this will be a good movie.
Well, he's not even an American.
What do you mean?
Mel Gibson's not American.
He's like Australian or something.
Yeah.
But he
plays an American,
like,
which I couldn't help. Like, obviously, it's like, oh, boy.
Australians are honorary Americans. If you show up in a movie, I'm like, finally, someone I can root for.
That's fair. No, so Mel Gibson shows up and he's always been really good at accent work. But he's playing an American, Rocky the Rhode Island Red, and that's the character's name.
Again, I'm just surprised you know him.
This movie means a lot to me.
I did not realize. So now I have to tread carefully.
No, I don't. That's the thing. I don't care if you did or didn't like this movie. I'm just happy I get to talk about it.
Okay. Well, fly free, my chicken friend.
I will, as I plummet into this chicken farm. So Rocky shows up. He soars over the coops, and he lands in the fence, and he busts up his wing. He sprains it. They patch him up, and
is he fucking these chickens?
He wants to.
Is he though? Is that the subtext?
Look, all I'm saying is, in the epilogue of this movie, they show like 8 or 9 little chick babies, and there's like 2 roosters in their group.
And one of them's all busted.
Yeah,
he can't get it up.
One of them's an old man. He can't get his cloaca up.
He's like me after all those steroids.
Although all those chicks got to come from somewhere. But this movie is for children, so they're not going to tell you where the babies come from.
That's true. This is a dog whistle for polyamory.
No, there is. I do love. Do you remember the rat characters, Nick and Fetcher?
I remember the rats. I couldn't have told you their names.
Yeah, well, their names are synonyms for thievery. They nick things and they fetch things. Because these guys, their whole MO is like they work with the chickens and their escape plans. They get them all of their.
How are they getting in and out?
So it's not that they can't leave the farm, because they can burrow underground like the others can. Ginger's plan is, we got to get everybody out. She says at one point in the movie, it's not that hard to get a chicken out, or even 2 or 3. Everybody's got to go though.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah. So she can leave anytime she wants. They've shown multiple times in the opening montage. They've shown it's very easy to get under the fence, but it's waiting for everybody else is what gets you caught.
Okay.
But she is so steadfast in her belief, is like, we are a family. We got to get everybody out of here. No chicken left behind.
Is that a literal line from the movie? No chicken left behind.
No, it's not a literal line.
They should have hired you to write it.
No, I legitimately. I'm really tired of like the very obvious will they won't they of like the 2 leads. It's like, of course these chickens is gonna fuck in the end. Like it's set up like the most like boilerplate romantic comedy of like they don't like each other and then they're gonna like each other.
Because it's a movie for literal babies.
It's a movie for literal babies.
If it was any more complex than that, they would cry and not understand it.
I was 1 when this movie came out. This movie was made for me.
Hey, I'm gonna make a little movie for a weirdo. Stars a couple chickens and Mel Gibson. Is Mel Gibson gonna be a chicken? Yeah, I guess so. I was just gonna have him run around beating the shit out of him.
He was just, we were gonna lock him up in the bar and he's gonna say some real problematic things and then we put him in the pie machine.
We're gonna set him loose on that little claymation woman. He's gonna leave her some voicemails.
Mrs. Tweedy. God,
I found my men's rights activist friend to set you straight.
Mrs. Tweedy is legitimately a great villain in my opinion.
Gray?
Great.
Oh.
Cause when you think about what makes like a good villain in a movie, they have to have power over the protagonist for a good underdog story. She's literally 8 times the size of this chicken and has an axe. I'm like, yeah. Fuck her.
Yeah. Again, it's a children's movie. It's like, who's the villain? A mean bitch.
With an axe to grind.
What does she do? Kills chickens. Why? Hates them. Why does she have a chicken farm if she hates chickens? That's an excellent question, sir. I can't help but notice you're dissecting chicken runs, so you can leave my office.
I also love her himbo husband.
What?
I also Mr. Tweedy is so funny to me. I legitimately still giggle. Cause like they get the pie machine because the chicken farm isn't making the egg farm is not making enough money, and she gets this flyer in the paper that's like, instead of eggs, you could turn your chicken farm into a pie farm.
Not a thing.
Here's a big machine that turns chickens into chicken pot pie.
Yeah.
And sure, that's good enough for me. It's just a big machine that makes pie.
Yeah.
And so they get this big machine built, and her husband, like, he's the one that puts the machine together. He knows that vegetables went in it, that gravy went in it, they got that savory pie crust, and he's looking at it, he's like, so what's it do? And she's like, chickens go in, pies come out. And he says to her for a second, he's like, what kind of pie? Without missing a beat, she's like, apple. He's like, oh, I love apple pie. And then she beats her husband. Because he's dumb.
You call him a himbo, though. Don't you have to be, like, big and attractive, not old and balding?
You telling me he's not attractive?
I am actually telling you this claymation man from a children's movie is not attractive.
I guess that's more telling on me than anything else.
Yeah, it is.
So...
And I'm going to be telling on you to certain federal authorities.
He wants to fuck the cartoon. He wants to fuck the old cartoon man. No, so they, getting back to where we were before the pie machine.
So, just real quick. No, I lost it. I don't know.
You're letting me run all over the place with this because you didn't get it.
I didn't get, that's the thing. I didn't get it because she's like, I'm going to kill the chickens for pies. And I'm like, you're going to run out. You don't have that many chickens.
Yeah, but the pies are going to make her more money so she could buy more chickens.
So she's just going to turn them over? She's just going to buy chickens and throw them in the machine?
Yeah.
Okay. That's a kid's movie. Sure. Why not? I can't be like, the financials of this villain's plan don't add up.
Yeah, I think you're thinking too deep on Chicken Run.
I wasn't at the beginning. At the beginning, I was literally just trying to understand it. That complaint, though, I'll acknowledge. Like, Miss Tweedy's plans don't have to make financial sense in the real world, because this is a movie where chickens talk.
If you think the financial plans of the villain of the first movie don't make sense, brother, wait until Dawn of the Nugget. It's the name of the sequel.
They're making nuggets with a machine now?
They're making nuggets with the machine. It came out like last year, too.
What?
Yeah.
Mel Gibson in it?
No, it's Zachary Levi.
That's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
If you're getting rid of Mel Gibson for certain views, Zachary Levi sort of slots like square peg in a square hole on that one.
Yeah. No, I didn't like the sequel as much as the first one because I didn't have the nostalgia for it, but the sequel's pretty solid. I also really like the sequel.
Stay tuned for me watching The New Crow and then Chicken Run 2.
Dawn of the Nugget.
What's interesting is that's the subtitle for the new Crow movie as well.
So,
City of Nuggets.
So, Rocky the Rhode Island Red lands in their chicken coop.
We're still on him landing?
Yes, because I got distracted.
You don't have to say every plot beat.
Well, so it's important to note that he had a flyer on him that shows him flying, and so they're like, "This is a chicken that can fly. He can teach us how to
also
fly."
he flew in.
Yeah. So he can teach us how to fly. And he's like, "Oh, for sure. I'll do that when my wing is better." And so he's teaching them quote unquote fundamentals. There's this series of it's not even a montage, it's just a series of scenes showing him slowly getting better, taking them for granted. He lies to Nick and Fetcher because he's like, "Hey, I need these things for morale because the chicken machine showed up that turns them into pies, so now morale is real low. I will give you every egg I lay." He's a rooster.
Yeah.
They don't lay eggs.
He's gonna be giving those rats shit.
Exactly. So we get this inkling. It's like, oh, who would have guessed he's a liar?
Yeah.
That's just like our first inkling that like, oh, of course he's not everything that he seems. But when his wing is better, he cops to it. "I can't fly. I've been feeding you bullshit this entire time. I'm leaving now."
He doesn't say that though, right? He like leaves the other half of the poster because they have the poster of him flying, and then he leaves. See, I understood this part. I was like, the canon, because that's how they make him fly.
Yeah.
Just because the circus occasionally shows up looking for him, right?
Yeah, the circus shows up like once, like the night he lands, the night he lands, the circus shows up, and so Ginger has some of this privileged information that he was part of the circus, and his whole thing is like, "I'm the lone free ranger. Emphasis on free. I can't go back to the circus." And she's like, "Why? Legitimately, why don't you understand our plight? You were in servitude to the circus. We're in servitude to this egg farm. Why don't you understand our plight?"
And he's like, "I can't understand your fucking British accent, you stupid chicken bitch."
No, it's the Scottish woman that he doesn't understand.
I didn't understand most of them.
Damn.
I related heavily to when he was like, "What?" every time these chickens talk.
Maybe that's why you didn't understand the movie, because you literally couldn't understand half of the dialogue.
And I couldn't really tell them apart. Most of them. I have this trouble with real people in movies.
Yeah.
Where I have trouble. So, and then also just not understanding. They just kept talking about flying. And I was like, yeah, we were like 40 more minutes in this movie. We just keep talking about flying, huh?
Yeah, because the issue is they got to fly over the fence, and he's being real cagey about it, like, "Oh, I'll teach you everything I know about flying. I'll give you every egg I lay." He's not laying eggs. He can't fly. So teaching him everything he knows is teaching them shit.
I understand that. I'm not 5 years old. I can understand the.
Well, because when you tell me you don't understand the movie,
I don't understand. Who's watching this?
Me.
But it's like it's not jokes. Are there jokes?
I think there's some jokes.
It's like the British humor maybe, where it's just like, "Oh, isn't that quaint? Oh, how clever."
There's a really good bit joke where when the rats are talking about that roosters don't lay eggs, Fetcher, the like dumb rat, he's like, "They don't lay eggs," and Nick's like, "Apparently it's a lady thing, ask your mother." I'm like, oh, haha, I get that.
But do kids get that?
No, but I do. I don't give a shit about kids.
There's a movie with a pie machine and knowing it's a pie in the face.
Rocky trips into a pie much like stepping on a rake. If we were going for Looney Tunes ass humor, he trips into pies several times. When I was a kid, that scene terrified me.
The pie machine?
Yeah, because
you imprinted on the chickens. You thought you were going in the machine next. I
No,
want to be a pie. I want to be a pie.
Why am I Mickey Mouse?
I don't know.
I don't want to be a pie. No, because I did
Mickey
notice.
Chicken Boy.
I did. I did notice it a little bit. The flames in the oven are mixed really high. Like when the flames turn on in the oven all around them, like that was just like way louder than anything else in the movie. Mm-hmm. And it could just be that like the scene was dark, the music was, all, and I get like that's the tone they're trying to do. They're trying to like freak kids out.
I respect that. I respect scaring the shit out of a kid in a kid's movie. More movies should do it more. Again,
I think
bring it back.
Tarot should have been rated G.
Tarot has made like $37 million on $8 million. When we saw it, it was at 21 million. I was like, it'll probably hit 24, 3 times the budget, get a sequel. It's like 5 times the budget now. It's getting a sequel.
It's getting a sequel.
And I'm there for it because I got little fucking freak ass designs. And that was only PG-13. What other tarot cards did they miss? The chicken?
The Hierophant.
The pie machine?
If they made Chicken Run themed tarot cards, I could be convinced to be a white woman.
You could? We could talk you into it?
You could talk me into astrology. Okay, so he leaves and he finally comes to his senses. So literally they're telling him to his face. He is into the pie machine at a certain point. Ginger, to test the pie machine when it gets up and running. So the C plot of this movie is that the husband knows that the chickens are up to something. And which I thought was fucking hilarious.
I liked that line. When he looks and he's just like, those chickens are up to something. I was like,
and
nice.
his wife, Mrs. Tweedy's just like, they're chickens, you fucking idiot.
So when the chickens speak, do they speak English?
In the first movie, it's unclear. In the second movie, it's very clear that no, when the chickens are speaking, it's just like chicken noises.
Okay, so it's not like a Stewie from Family Guy situation where it's like sometimes we understand them.
No. So he has this constant thing where he's trying to catch the chickens and doing something. And at one point, his wife, Mrs. Tweedy's just like, aside from you, they're the dumbest thing on this planet. They're not plotting anything. You're just an idiot. My stupid husband that I married into poverty.
I couldn't tell if he was her husband for a long time.
Yeah,
I thought he was just a groundskeeper.
No, that's her husband, Mr. Tweedy.
Yeah.
Well, because there's a whole... When she talks about, like, when she gets the pie machine, he's just like, but we've always been egg farmers. My father was an egg farmer. His father was an egg farmer.
When he said that, so I was like, so has he just been the groundskeeper for a long time? And then when she has the pie machine, and she's like, it's going to be...
Mrs. Tweedy's pies.
Yeah.
A woman's touch makes the public
because he was like, why not both Tweedies?
Yeah.
And she was like, shut up, you horrid bitch.
Yeah.
And I was like, pour one out. But he also sucks. He's okay killing and eating chickens.
Yeah.
String them all up.
I'm okay killing and eating chickens. I love chicken. It's one of the only things I can eat on my stupid diet.
In real. Mel Gibson's not a chicken in real life.
I would eat Mel Gibson.
Would you?
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
No?
He's done enough. I think he's balancing out.
Yeah, no. I'm in the same boat. He's done enough. I'd eat Mel Gibson.
No, I'm saying, like, there's enough good. There's some bad. But, like, the scales of Anubis are even.
So, the third, because Rule 3 is great comedy comes in rules of 3.
You gotta be funny first and twice, though.
I thought it was funny. But when the chickens finally, like, when he finally catches the chickens, plotting and scheming and building the old crate, the chickens attack him and they're wrapping him up, and he screams, "Mrs. Tweedy, the chickens are revolting!" His wife is like, finally, something we can agree on. And I was like, I get it, because that's got 2 meanings.
Yeah. I was like, all right.
Yeah, this movie is fun, and I think the issue here is you can't experience childlike whimsy.
I don't think I can.
It's a medical condition. I lost a gland.
I watch these movies and I'm just like, I've never in my life had to read a video game manual until I got Harvest Moon for the Wii, and I could not figure out how to play the game.
The game is just farming, my guy.
And so I had to open the manual. So when things are like mellow or like sweet or childlike or something like that, I can't interface with them. There's a do not compute. I watch it like I'm on the outside looking in. I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I'm like, I just analyze it and nothing connects. And Chicken Run was that. So like, I don't like it. But I'm also like, what is this?
So you don't like it, but you're also willing to cop to the fact that it could just be a you thing?
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't watch things and understand them.
So Yeah, after we figure out that like
So we're just ignoring. You're just like, anyway, crazy.
yeah, no. Look, I don't know what to I don't know what to do with that cuz I can interface with
I know
these.
you only interface with children's media. Media for grown adults scares you. It frightens you. You run away and hide.
Tarot, I could not
You're
have
like a baby man.
Tarot was PG-13 and I would not have been able to watch
Wait,
Tarot
serious? I'm
alone.
just fucking with you. Are you serious right now?
Yeah, no,
I was
wouldn't-
trying to insult you there to make you go like, come on, man.
No, like, okay, I can interface with adult media if it's like Dead Poet Society, Good Will Hunting, things that are introspective, things that have something to say about the human condition or what it means to be. Now, to be fair, Dead Poet Society, I probably have different views on now because Eat the Rich, and that's just a movie about a bunch of white boys being sad, and I don't care about that. But but when the casting is good, the casting is good. But like, not like, I guess I can interface. I interface with adult media that could still possibly be like for children, like Olympus Has Fallen. That's like, you could say it's like, oh, this is like heady things of like US versus North Korea. It's like, nah, this is dudes shooting guns.
This is not heady in it. Nothing heady in Lumpus.
No. Nothing heady and lumpus fall down. So like
Okay.
I can interface with like, I can interface with any media. It's
You
just
couldn't have watched Tarot alone?
I would not have been able to watch Tarot alone.
You would have gotten scared?
Yeah. I'm not desensitized, is I guess what I can chalk it up to.
Not desensitized or overly sensitized would be the argument I would make.
We'll have to find a scale. We'll have to start watching more horror movies and like find the threshold and create like a barometer, create a meter, create
Okay.
a spectrum of create a new spectrum just to put me on it.
Absolutely. I was about to say emphasis on spectrum.
Find a new spectrum just to put me on it. Cause like I love The Woman in Black, which is
Yeah.
a really good horror movie, slow burn British.
Maybe you just like British things.
It could be.
Do you want to be British secretly? Are you one of those people?
So bad. I want to be. I want to live under a monarchy so bad.
I love when it's rainy. The food sucks. My teeth are bad.
I love when everything on my plate is different shades of gray.
Let's see, but Chicken Run, Doctor Who, right?
Yeah, I like Doctor Who.
Monty Python,
I do like Monty Python.
Pride and Prejudice.
I've never experienced. I've never read it. I've never seen a version
Okay.
of it.
That's okay though. That was a question. That was a derailing question for something else.
Okay.
I was gonna start checking boxes in the woman category.
I mean,
Because Doctor Who and Pride and Prejudice, I'd just be like, okay.
I just think media, because I also like a lot of Japanese stuff. I just enjoy it culturally, where I just enjoy what I would consider good media.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't matter where it's from. I will watch it and then using my own, like, did I enjoy this fucking bar? And I enjoyed Chicken Run. I enjoy Yojimbo.
Hey, Yo Jimbo, those chickens is trying to escape. Yo Jimbo rules, but every time I watch it, I call him Jimbo, and I'm like, hey, Yo Jimbo, every time he's on screen.
Oh man,
Kurosawa, you've done it again.
yeah. So
They escape.
the way this movie resolves is they realize we as chickens are incapable of flying. Believe it or not, I ran the numbers. We did the science.
So let's build a plane.
Yeah, so they finally ask the guy that was in the Air Force, like, hey, Mr. Old Air Force guy, what's the Air Force? And he's like, we fought in the air. Where's your plane? And he had a picture of a plane, and then they were like, we could just build one of these. The answer was with us the whole time. We didn't need that hard American man.
So they build it, and then they're like, old man, fly it. And he's like, what? I don't fly planes.
I'm a chicken in the Air Force.
But why does that have to be real? Everything else is goofy, so I don't understand that. He's like, I can't fly. I just thought he did. And then they're like, no, but you got to. And he goes, okay. And then he flies the plane.
Yeah.
So what the fuck was the whole point of that interaction?
I thought it was funny. They wouldn't let chickens fly the plane. Are you fucking crazy?
But what then was the point of your character?
Stolen valor.
Stolen valor. String him up into the pie machine with the old one.
Yeah. So many of his fucking war stories were just like, we were in the thick of it. And then it's like, I never saw active combat. We were the mascots.
Did he say I've never seen active combat?
No, but he did say we were the mascots. They're not giving a chicken a gun in World War II.
They might in this world where chickens speak.
Chickens don't speak, though.
What?
This is from the perspective of the chicken. When at no point does a chicken...
So why does he have a picture of a plane then? This is what I don't get.
This is a children's movie, my man.
Right, but and so I'm trying to let it pass, but then this isn't this is a sequence of nonsensical events. Cuz he flies the plane.
Yes.
And he says I can't fly a plane, and then he just does. Because they're like, only you can do it, which doesn't make sense. Because what's he doing then that's different than it? Why doesn't any chicken fly the plane?
This moment of being able to fly the plane will actualize his arc.
Of what?
He's always wanted to fly the plane.
He didn't say that. He said he didn't want to fly the plane.
My man's never heard of subtext. You heard
There's
it here
not
first.
subtext here. This is inconsistent. I don't get it. I don't get that moment either. Everything with this character I don't get. When he goes, I was
Fowler.
a mascot. I was like, then why everything else you've done in this movie? Why any of it? And then Mel Gibson shows up for no reason because he's like, I'm maybe I shouldn't let all these women I met get turned into food.
Yeah, the thing that like makes him realize is he's riding away on a little children's plastic tricycle. Singing, Andres.
Yeah.
Scooting along his little tricycle, his little Stewie Griffin ass tricycle, and he sees a billboard for Mrs. Tweedy's chicken pies, and he's like, "Oh yeah, there's a pie machine. I was in it.
I gotta save these women." And then he shows up, and he does. He hits the woman with his bike or something. But I thought he was gonna fly the plane because he's the one that could fly. So of course the plan doesn't work if he's not there. But he just shows up.
Yeah.
So there's no reason he needed to come back. Like, he saves her, so circumstantially he was.
Yeah.
But the plan didn't need him.
No.
So then what's the point of his character?
Romantic oppositional B plot.
Then
And him coming back, like, realizes that plot line in a very, like, fulfilling way for a kid's movie.
Is that it?
Mrs. Tweedy is climbing on to the plane, and Ginger goes down with some plastic ass scissors and tricks Mrs. Tweedy into cutting the rope that she's hanging from.
And she doesn't die. She's fine.
She's in the gravy machine that explodes.
It doesn't kill her.
No,
Then
because it's a children's movie. You could only kill chickens in a kid's movie.
They could have. I promise. I might not understand children's media,
But they could have smeared her across the
kids
farm.
would be riot cheering in the seats. Like, if at the end she just fell in that gravy machine, it blows up, and we just see her legs fall over.
We just see boots.
The FDA comes and just shoots her to death because her pies are unsafe.
So that's Chicken Run, and I fucking love this movie.
I love The Crow.
I love The Crow too. However,
I don't love The Crow 2. The Crow 2 sucks.
I love The Crow as well.
I think I do that bit every time.
Probably. I will say I don't rewatch The Crow. I feel like if I rewatch The Crow as much as I've seen Chicken Run, it wouldn't hit as hard. So this is like a little special, like maybe like once every couple of years around Halloween, something to kind of get in the mood. Chicken Run is maybe once a year for me.
Once a year, like what? Thanksgiving?
No, that's what's that one Thanksgiving movie they tried at Freebird? It's the two turkeys that are like, we got to go back in time and get turkey off the menu.
Someone we know was saying that over and over again. I wanted to punch him in the face. I didn't know what it was. He just kept saying it, and another dude would say it, and they both laughed.
I would say it.
Oh my god!
When we were going to the gym, I would say it.
Is that another animated movie?
Yeah, it's called Freebird. I've never seen it. We gotta watch that and Eli Roth's Thanksgiving. We got to do a double feature.
Have you seen that movie?
No, I've seen neither of these.
Handle it.
Huh?
You won't be able to handle it.
Eh.
I saw it in theaters. Someone I saw it with a group. Someone started crying.
Really?
Yeah, because the scene was so gross.
I didn't know Eli Roth was that bad of a director. It got people crying.
It did, because the scene was so gross.
I'm so excited for Borderlands.
I understand that.
connection.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, we need to do a Thanksgiving double feature and get him on here, because you got to get...
If both of you start saying that, I'll just shoot myself.
You wouldn't shoot us instead?
I'm a benevolent God. Just when you pray, I won't answer. You know what I'm praying for?
Chicken Run 3.
No more animated movies. But I know they're coming. Now that the floodgates are open.
I'm so fucking excited.
I can't outvote you. It's 1-1. We're just filibustering for the eternity.
That's why 2 movies per is such a good compromise. Because, like, if there's really comes a time where it's, like, a movie that... Because I'll watch anything. But if there's really a movie where you're like, this looks like dog shit, I'll be like, okay, you can pick a movie that you know I'd hate. And then that'll be the tenuous connection for double feature is, I hate my co-host.
Yeah, okay. Just the subtext today is anger.
I don't think there'll ever be a time, though, where I'm not kind of... Like, you kind of... check out for movies that you're not like into, which is totally fair, but I don't think there'll ever be a time where I'm like, I didn't like this movie. I don't want
Am I like that right now?
No, but was it was Twilight. We were talking about Twilight, and like when we talked about Blade, you sat up and you were like, let's fucking go. I was checked out.
I was checked out, but I'll tell you this. I watched Twilight before I watched Chicken Run again.
Really?
And that's not me saying Chicken Run's worse. I got angry watching Chicken Run because I didn't get it. And then I was looking at my letterbox, and my last reviewed movie was Chicken Run, so I stayed up late watching The Predator, like the original Predator, just so I didn't have to see it when I opened up my app.
Oh my god.
I just watched Predator. I rated it 5 stars. I was like, I fucking love this movie. Done.
Okay, so next we're gonna be watching every Wallace and Gromit movie, and I'm gonna hold his eyes open like fucking Clockwork Orange.
We'll watch Clockwork Orange.
And Wallace and Gromit. The connection is I just said them in the same sentence.
Is that how it's gotten already?
You like the bullshit connections.
The bullshit connections are fun, but not just like I said movies together. Any last thoughts on Chicken Run?
If it makes you feel any better, I do like The Crow more than I like Chicken Run. However, I had more fun with Chicken Run. And that really is like, at the end of the day, I would rather watch a movie and feel good about the world than dissect a movie and kind of be mid. Which is nothing against The Crow, but like trying to dissect and be like, oh, because here's all these layers going into it. I'd rather just watch The Crow and have fun than dissect it.
I did watch The Crow and have fun. It cut to him ripping metal on an electric guitar on the roof. And at no point did I have to misunderstand chicken speak. Cut the feed.